Welcome back, YouTube pipe smokers. This is TheSpurgeonPiper. Today I'm covering quite a basic topic that most new pipe smokers are either unaware of or they first hear about and they're unclear about what it means, and that's cellaring tobacco. And so there's a plethora of videos out there about that. Um, I'm not going to really be covering anything that a lot of people haven't already covered, but maybe you haven't found those other resources, and so I'm happy to shed light on this. I have been asked to cover this topic, so it won't be uh, very in depth. It's going to be quite basic, but it will be enough to help you out, I believe. So quickly, why would you cellar tobacco? What is cellaring tobacco? If you aren't aware, cellaring tobacco doesn't mean you have a cellar in your home and you walk down that cellar and um, you have everything you're storing for your tobacco there. Though if you do, hey, that's awesome. But you don't need that. Cellaring just means storing your tobacco, whether it's in a box in your closet, a special room in your house, or on a shelf, or what have you. You want to store tobacco for long term. If you're going to store tobacco long term, you want to store it in a place that is climate controlled, out of the heat, out of sunlight, and somewhat secure. And so long-term storage helps. It benefits. Kind of similarities with wine, as you know, wine ages and it's beneficial. It's better off. There's similarities with that with tobacco. The more it ages to an extent, the better off the tobacco is. There are some caveats with that, and mostly that's aromatics. That's not always the case with aromatics. Because of the casing, um, you are going to have a negative effect. From what I understand, and I'm basing this off of what others have said, you're going to have a negative effect with that, or just at the best, you're not going to have much positive effect with it. But you're going to the aging of tobacco is going to help with its flavor, its character. If it is a blend of multiple blends or a blend of multiple leaves, you're going to have that melding effect, and so it will be a far more smoother smoke, and so it will be distinguished. There's even things I don't understand, but I've tasted myself of aged tobaccos, and the effects are noticeable. The improvement is noticeable. So yes, it is beneficial to store tobacco just for that itself. Not to mention, buying in bulk saves you money. So it's nice to have that in mind when you're going to make a purchase, to get the best bang for your buck, to buy more, which usually means you get it at a lower cost, and therefore you're going to get more for your money, and you'll have to store some of that away, and that's where cellaring comes in as well. So for flavor profile and for saving money, it benefits to cellar. So not everyone does, but it does have benefits, which is why it's usually encouraged to cellar. Not to mention, and here's a third reason, and we're not going to get into the politics, but we don't know what the rules will be, litigation, or the laws will be coming forward in any country you live in, and some of you have it worse than others. You don't know if it will be illegal or they'll just stop allowing selling of tobacco, and so it's nice to kind of be ahead of the curve. We have instances like with the McClellan blends, that some blends just go out of production, or companies go away altogether, and you want to be ahead of that. Store those blends you really love. I love a good bit of GLP's blends. My go-to, one of my go-tos is Stonehenge Flake, or Chelsea Morning. Well, I don't think Cornell and Dill is the company that produces almost all of GLP's blends, and Cornell and Dill is probably still the largest manufacturer or producer of tobacco. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. They would be one of the last, I would assume, to leave the industry. So uh, I think I'm safe there, but irregardless, we don't know what could occur, and we lose some of our favorite blends. So there are three reasons why you want to consider cellaring. So why or how do we cellar? Well, I mentioned you want to keep your tobaccos cool, safe, in a fairly climate controlled, especially a lower climate or temperature um, area of your house or office or wherever. Um, and if you're going to have a bulk sale or buy in bulk and have some tins um, that you're not going to open, that's great. You can leave them as is. For instance, I have a couple of tins here I was going to show you. Um, so a lot of the what they call American style tins are these here. So they have this. Oh, that's actually opened. I didn't realize that. They have the seal top like this. So right there. Um, that those will store very well. I know some have said they have had these bulge over the years and cause issues. I haven't had that so far. I don't know if that's normal. Um, so take that for what you will. If you start noticing it, then move it to another container, and we'll cover that in a minute. Same thing with it, smaller 2 ounce, that's 8 ounce. And then you have the European style tins like this. Now, there's debate on should you move these sealed, air sealed, or vacuum sealed, excuse me, vacuum sealed tobaccos into jars. And some say, yes, do that immediately as you get them because, one, the vacuum seal compared to American seal, you're actually removing the air, the oxygen out of this container. This one is sealing the oxygen in here. This causes, and I think everyone agrees, there's more benefits of having the air, oxygen in there, as it does create a better aging effect through the way I guess it would be the bacteria or the microbes break down the tobacco. I think I'm right there. Um, where this one does not occur because it has no oxygen. So some say immediately, if you're going to store these long term, I'll go ahead and break them open and put them in mason jars. Another reason why some say to do that is they don't trust the seal here. They don't trust it that some air can get in. That has happened to some. So what I do, I kind of take both roads. Let's just take EMP. I do move some of my tin seals into containers, mason jars, which we'll cover mason jars, and some I just leave in here. And then I check them every, I don't know, at least 6 months maybe. Maybe even earlier than that as I'm going through my collection. And I just, I feel them. If it feels like it's popping already, well, then I need to get them out. And then I'll kind of wiggle the top, make sure it's not already popped. And I'm just going to just take the chance on that, I guess. So, so when it comes to moving tobacco out of these, it's up to you, I guess. I don't know what the right answer is on that. Some go both ways, so do it as you wish. All right, so you can store tobacco, nonetheless, store tobacco in the original containers. Those that come in bulk, so you buy from Pipes and Cigars, Smoking Pipes, Country Squire, and you're going to buy in bulk blends, meaning they don't come in containers. You're going to get them in bags. Some other tobaccos come in bags. You take your amphoras, your Carter Halls, those like that. A lot of the over-the-counter blends, they're going to come in bags or pouches. Those you will want to move into jars as well because they won't last that long. Even when some have a seal, they're just not going to have long-term storage in those. So those you want to store in mason jars. And that is where we do store most of them. Mason jars are the go-to. They are known to last. They have a good sealing effect. No worries with them overall. So you have options, and this is where we get into the options of mason jars. So there's different size mason jars. Is there a benefit of one over the other? Which one do you pick? And there's a little bit of just what you desire, but there's practicality in choosing one over the other. So let's say you got to sell on a bulk blend. In my cellar video on my English blends, I show that I bought a bulk amount of Scotty's University Professor. That's from Pipes and Cigars. So Scotty's University Professor. And that's an English blend that they make in-house. You buy it in bulk, meaning you get it in bags. And that was a blend I really loved at the time. It's okay now, but I bought a pound of it, 16 ounces. And so I had to store a lot of it in jars. So the first one we have up that I wanted to show you is, I think this is a 32 ounce. So it's just a bigger amount, larger compared to the pints. So there's your comparison. All right. So most of it I'll store in this. When I open my Chelsea morning or my quiet nights 8-ounce tubs like this, I will store most of it in here. This holds, I think you can shove about 8 ounces of your ribbon cut tobacco in here. That's about as much as I usually get in, and that's pressing it down inside the jar. So these are great for long-term storage. These you're not going to be opening every day. You're probably not going to open every month. You probably won't even open every 6 months. These would be more of those that you opened. If you're going to open them anytime soon, you would open maybe once a year to replenish smaller jars that are your regular go-tos. So I store blends in here that I know I won't get to for quite a while, at least a year, maybe long term. Maybe they're the ones I'm going to get to in 5 to 10 years, or longer if someone decided to choose to go longer. So that is the purpose or the benefit of these. Saves you some room, and it holds quite a bit that you can just shove away into your cellar. So 32 ounce, I believe, is the size. So next up, and by the way, this is Ball brand. Next up, these are the pints. Now there's going to be different sizes here. I want to go through a couple of them, or versions, I should say. Pints are the go-to. Pints are the ones that I use daily. If you see me have YouTube videos of reviews, a lot of times the tobacco I'm smoking is already in these. So you don't have to do it this way, but I usually straight away take my tobaccos. Let's just go with EMP. I'm going to open this right now. I could leave it in this, and if I'm going to smoke it in a month or less, you're probably okay with just leaving it in here and putting the top back on, and after you load up your pipe and getting it back out. You can, and there's those who do that. I just don't. So I immediately put mine in here. And so this will hold easily the 1.75 ounce or 50 gram tins, I should say, 50 gram tins, or your 2 ounce American style tins. They hold those almost perfectly. Perfect size for them, which is why they're so popular. So these are great for that. These are great for your daily go-tos. Of course, they're great for cellaring as well. And these are the ones that I usually will, if I have bulk blends, they will be poured into this when I run out of this. So here's the other thing about these is you have options with this size. With the pint size, here's a Ball jar that I believe is a pint, maybe. I'm pretty sure it is. So here's one difference. One is the size of the lids. These are called wide mouth. As you can see, it's wider mouth. If whatever blend, whether it's Ball brand or this is Golden Harvest, it's a cheaper brand. There's other ones. Kerr is another one in the United States, at least. They'll have different sizes and models of the pint size. I love wide mouth. It makes it easier to get your tobacco out, so I definitely prefer that. I like the look of this jar. I like the squatty style. I think it looks nicer. We're not doing this for looks necessarily, but hey, that's a bonus. I like the look of it. If it was sitting out on my shelf, I think it looks nicer than this. So. But what I don't like about them, these don't stack well. And that's something you need to keep in mind when you're buying mason jars. How do they stack in storage? because you're probably going to stack them. I mean, unless you have them in just regular or single boxes, maybe that doesn't matter for you, and that's great. Then I really like these. I store mine, as you've seen in my cellar video, and so these store. I don't have another one nearby me. I was going to show you another one. These sit on top of each other pretty well, and they're not going to fall off. These, however, because of the bottom, you get more than one of these. They don't stack well, and then I've had them slide off when I'm justling around in my cellar cabinet. So that's the problem with these. So bear that in mind. Maybe it doesn't matter in your situation. When it comes to stacking, I prefer these. Now, here's Kerr version or Kerr company, and there's the wide mouth, that's a ball lid, but Kerr has a wide mouth as well. So there's the perfect medium. These do stack well as well. So when it comes to looks, these are great. I really like the look of these. I don't think they're great for storing, however, as far as stacking. So be aware of these. When it comes to both of these, I prefer the look of this one and the wide mouth here. This one's just going to be harder to get your tobacco out. All right? So there's that to keep in mind. Then you get down to a half a pint, I believe these are. These are the smaller ones. These can be daily use. I don't use that many of them. I brought it out because I wanted to show you another example of options. I have some of these that are, so I'll tell you one good thing about these is if you're trying blends out, you want to get a small amount. You go on smokingpipes.com and you just want to buy 1 ounce. You don't want to spend a lot of money. You're not sure if you like the blend, so you don't want to buy a full 10. And you look at the bulk options and you want to buy 1 ounce. Well, there's 2 great options. There's this one, okay? That's a great option. Or there's even the smaller ones like this one. Which they both stack well together too, by the way. These are good for vacationing or for trips, bringing some with you, or they're just good for having your samples slipped in there instead of taking up the room of a larger pint jar. So I do have these on hand. I have a lot of these on hand actually because for YouTube videos, and some of you guys have sent me samples, or I've done trades and you send me sample sizes. I have a good bit of these on hand. And so that's a benefit of these little guys. You're going to run out of them quickly, so I don't recommend them for maybe your rotation stash, but they're great to put your samples in. Now, I don't have one on me right now, but they do make wide mouth, and I really like them. They don't stack well. They make these here, but they're squatty right there, like about that size, okay? I really like them because they're perfect for flakes and crumble cakes. They don't take up a lot of room in my cellar. I can, instead of using something big like this or putting flakes in these just leaves a lot of room. So the squatty style, and I should have brought one with me, but I didn't. The squatty style that are about this big, they're awesome for flakes, awesome for crumble cakes. So if you see them, I do recommend them. They do have the problem with this one. They don't stack well, but they're they have such a small frame that they don't have a large fall, and I don't think you're going to break one. So those are ones I do recommend for your flakes and your crumble cakes. Okay, so in review, cellaring's good. You have options on mason jars. If you want to cellar in your tins, go for it. They're fine. They work. Just keep an eye on them occasionally, whether they're American style or this style. I think you're going to be okay with doing that. You have options on mason jars. If you're going to buy bulk and buy a lot at one time, take advantage of these big guys. If you're for your daily use, these are your I'm going to break one of these. These are your go-tos. All right, so you have these 2 here and this one, which I don't recommend as much. And then for your samples, you're going to go on a trip. You need something to store some tobacco. These 2 guys are great. These are what I recommend. So This is about a 20. This is going to be over a 20-minute video. So I hope this is helpful, guys. I think I covered just about everything that's pretty basic. But if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I'm sure other guys smarter than me and have been in the pipe smoking realm longer than me can answer those questions as well. So leave them below. And if there's anything else any other questions you have, send me an email or in the comments. Always leave my email below in the box, and you're welcome to contact me there. I hope that's helpful. Hope you guys take care, and we will talk to you soon.